Once upon a time in the lands of Kenya, there lived a man named Mamad, who was known throughout villages and kingdoms as the man who never lied. His words were pure, and his honesty was like a shining light that no shadow of falsehood could dim. People from distant places spoke of him with admiration, saying that Mamad's tongue carried only truth and that deceit never touched his lips. He became so famous that his reputation eventually reached the ears of the king. The king, who was both powerful and curious, loved to test the wisdom of others. When he heard about Mamad, he thought to himself, "Is it possible that there is a man who has never lied? I must see for myself." So the king ordered his guards to bring Mamad to the palace. When Mamad stood before him, the king looked deeply into his eyes and asked,
"Mamad, is it true that you have never told a lie?"
Mamad bowed respectfully and answered,
"It is true."
The king continued,
"And you promise that you will never lie in your entire life?"
Mamad's voice remained calm as he replied.
"I will never lie in my life."
The king leaned closer and said,
"Be careful, Mamad. Lies are cunning. They come quickly to the tongue and easily trick even the wisest of men."
Mamad simply nodded, unshaken by the warning. Several days passed and the king, still curious, decided to put Mamad to the test. He gathered a large crowd around the palace courtyard and called Mamad before him once more, with one foot already resting in the stirrup of his horse. The king prepared to go hunting. He spoke loudly for everyone to hear and said,
"Mamad, go to my summer palace and tell the queen that I will join her for lunch. Tell her to prepare a great feast and you will eat with me there."
Mamad bowed his head and set off to deliver the message. But the king, smiling slyly, whispered to those nearby,
"We will not go hunting today. Mamad will tell the queen I am coming, and when I do not arrive, he will be caught in a lie. Tomorrow we shall laugh at his foolishness."
But Mamad was not so easily deceived. When he reached the summer palace, he bowed before the queen and said,
"Your Majesty, perhaps you should prepare a feast for lunch tomorrow, and perhaps you should not. Maybe the king will arrive by noon, and maybe he will not."
The queen frowned in confusion.
"Tell me, Mamad, will he come or will he not come?"
Mamad answered with honesty,
"I do not know. When I left, the king had one foot in the stirrup of his horse. I do not know whether he mounted the horse or whether he set his foot back on the ground."
The queen listened carefully, puzzled but thoughtful. She prepared food but also kept in mind Mamad's careful words. The next day, the king arrived at the summer palace. He looked at the queen and laughed proudly. "The wise Mamad, who claims never to lie, must have lied to you yesterday." But the queen shook her head and repeated Mamad's exact words. She told the king how Mamad had spoken only of what he had seen with his own eyes, nothing more and nothing less. The king listened and fell silent. He realized that Mamad had not lied at all. He had spoken with great wisdom, leaving no room for deceit. Mamad had proved that truth could never be twisted by the traps of others. From that day forward, the king respected Mamad deeply and understood that a man who speaks only truth is stronger than the most cunning trickster.